Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'm Jan de Vis, Managing Director of Connect and Transform and Executive Professor at the Entrepreneurial MBA in Flanders Business School. One of the questions that's being asked by business leaders today is whether there is an ideal organization design. The short answer is probably no. The background is that many colleagues sense the way organizations are run today hits limits, and they start to explore better ways to make the work, moving away from the command and control model. And most of these approaches are based on an image of the nervous system, in which cells function both autonomous and in connection with each other. Increasing self-directedness is one of the key ideas. But how can you make this work? Here are some examples of companies moving in this direction. We observe the phenomenon in a broad range of industries and in both big and small companies, companies working locally and global companies. At Connect and Transform, we have been involved in supporting a number of clients towards exploratory experiments. We have observed that success is linked to addressing a number of dimensions simultaneously, and that's crucial in making a different organizational model work. These practices are related to three layers: an individual layer, a teaming layer, and an ecosystemic layer, and related to three mechanisms which have to do with role design, direction setting, and change management. Let's explore the most inclusive layer, an ecosystemic mindset. I would like to make reference to Poult Biscuiterie, a company founded in 1883 and now a leading manufacturer of sweet biscuits. They have been collecting most of the Innovative Enterprise Awards over the last 10 years, since they completely changed their organizational setup. They defined their purpose as becoming a platform for social innovation, by which they mean that they really need to help farmers finding another model of farming so they can cope with all the changes that affect them. Buur, 51 for E, and most other companies I have been involved in have similar ecosystemic related missions defined. They seem to serve as the vehicle to align change processes for identifying a broad range of stakeholders and guiding individual initiatives. The teams are responsible for end-to-end value chains. There is a kind of a natural clustering of activities in value chains, such as the value chain of sandwiches, but also the investment committee or the building of economic intelligence or market intelligence. In the direction setting, here, there is a strict advice process in which the impact of possible new initiatives is always checked with those stakeholders involved. The team setup is one focused on the activity of working together, which I call teaming. The major purpose of teaming is to innovate. And here I had the opportunity to work with 50N4E, a large Belgian architectural office. The change mechanisms were threefold on this level. They also invested in the other change mechanisms on the other levels. But on this level, a major change mechanism was starting to build a dashboard which created for all team members an overview on what was happening and enabled them to decide in a quicker and more integrative way. since everyone is mandated to take whatever decision he or she feels necessary to do the job, a number of conflicts arise. And installing peer feedback and conflict mechanisms was one of the most difficult things to establish. It was also remarkable that, notwithstanding all team members functioned as partners, there was a lot of attention given to how the value adds of each team member could be designed in such a way that they reinforced, that they complemented each other. The roles were designed in such a way that program roles clearly added value, for example, to program roles. There was a kind of an optimal relationship defined between roles. At the individual level, there was a clear choice for self-directedness. This doesn't equal total autonomy. There are numerous examples. Let's look at Morningstar. They have a transparent accountability process through which individual accountabilities are agreed upon. For them, it unfolds in a colleague accountability agreement process and a key performance accountability process. The pulled group, 51N4E and Morningstar, all work from a holistic view on people and development. This means that failure is seen as an opportunity to discover both a different perspective and seeing the whole system in the purpose of doing a better job. Therefore, there is also a very clear expectation towards all team members to take charge of their own development. This 3x3 matrix gives an overview of the 9 emerging practices. In the domain of working together, it seems that the unique value-add agreements are embedded in optimal role, in a process of looking for optimal role relationships, which in their turn is embedded in a kind of natural clustering of activities in value chains. The direction setting, which is nothing else than making sense together, is a combination of, at the individual level, developing a fluidity of thinking, which is the ability of individuals to approach issues from multiple perspectives. At the team level, the feedback and conflict handling mechanisms, and these seem to be embedded in strict advice processes through which all stakeholders which might be affected by the consequences of the decisions are consulted before taking the decision. The change processes follows a kind of a whole systems approach in which individual, team and ecosystemic purposes mutually reinforce each other. Organizing for the future is a quest of addressing the complexity differently and not choosing for a linear path of trying to focus on one dimension, but on the 9 dimensions simultaneously. I'm certainly looking forward for your reactions, and I thank you for your attention.